All right. Well, this is going to be, I don't want to do a 2 hour podcast, but I feel like it's been so long since we've had the band back together. This is going to be a 2 hour podcast.
And I like
So,
it. I like it because we don't have any outline. Let's just wing it.
okay. All right. Here we
Wait a
go.
minute.
Oh,
Full disclosure, though, I am in the race shop, so if dogs bark or something falls off the shelf or whatever, I can't help that.
that's fine. I mean, I
Okay.
got the window open here at the range. So, and I'm in the barn. So if somebody comes up with a straight pipe Harley, I'm still a couple hundred yards from that road, but it might come through, so it's fine. 10 o'clock in the morning pod. This is how it's going to have to. Well, else 10 o'clock, 10:30 for me. It's
9:30
what?
here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So all right. Okay. So here we go. Three, two, one. On this episode of the John 1911 Podcast, the boys are back. Danny wants a cig, the Kennedy family motto, and Hollywood is about to get wiped out. Okay, good evening. Hold on. You know what? I'm leaving it in. Okay, good morning, everybody. This is episode 352 of the John 1911 Podcast. It's been a while since we've had the full band back together. Danny, Kraken, and Marky. So I apologize to everybody for not having regular podcasts or having everybody on board, but with all the construction, everything that's been going on. I also did put Danny on ice for a little bit because I knew politics wasn't going to really pick up until at least September, and so now here October, and it's on like Donkey Kong. So what's everybody been doing while I've been trying to build this range? Anything new?
Go ahead,
Don't
Danny.
everybody go at once.
Yeah, y'all out of practice, I can tell.
Well, I try to let people go first and show my little bit of manners that I do have. But all
Wait a
right.
minute. Let people go first. Are you talking about people jumping off the bridge at work, or are we talking about podcasts? I'm trying to
Well,
follow you.
that's actually where I've been. Between that and calling balls and strikes, I had a very, very, very busy summer.
Yes, you have. So, Kraken.
Oh, I've got a little fish in here, and I bought a new Barbie doll for men. I got a CF Moto 950 side by side, and what I'm learning really quickly is it is literally the Barbie doll for men because you go crazy trying to accessorize this sumbitch. The
Yep.
problem is every single thing you bolt on it has got cheap Chinese metric bolts.
Oh no.
And I've lost 3 already this morning somewhere on the floorboard, so we've already started throwing tools.
Yeah. Yeah. The dirty secret is, in the automotive business, the money isn't made when they sell you the truck. The money's made in the accessories for the truck. So, so it's the same thing with side by side. So,
Oh, yeah.
well, I want to go ahead and talk about. I don't know if because we didn't really prepare. I just kind of hit you guys. Hey, be ready for a podcast of 15 minutes. Have either of you seen the videos of this union leader from the Longshoreman Union, whatever they're called? Have you guys seen this person?
The one that pulled up in the Bentley?
Did he pull up in a Bentley?
Yes.
Nuh-uh.
Yes, that's what it looked like to me.
The guy that's got the fancy
The,
gold glasses and the gold chain.
the big gray beard. Yep.
Yeah, and he talks like a character out of a fucking mafia movie. That dirtbag's driving around in a Bentley.
Yep, that I couldn't really
God.
tell, but it looked. Let's just put it this way: it wasn't a Rambler.
Okay.
Yeah. If it wasn't a Bentley, it wasn't a Chevy Impala.
It,
Wow.
it
Wow.
was something.
Wow.
It was one of those, if you have to ask how much it is, you can't afford it.
We'll have videos. I keep seeing videos of this guy giving interviews, and all I can think of is he doesn't understand his position in the world. He's one of these people that's gotten so hungry on his own, on power and on his believe in his own press that he thinks he's special. And Like, it reminds me when the news crews go, like, I'm sure this will happen, with all the hurricanes. The hurricane people are being, the media's being nice. They're trying to be too political with it. There's been, some people try to say Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal states and zones and all that nonsense. But a lot of times you'll see the media, something will happen and they'll show up and they'll find we have a cough mute button. It's been a while. But the media,
I just did that. Did you pick up my cough or no? I
oh yeah,
muted it,
we picked it up.
and I
Everybody got it.
and I hit the mute button.
We'll hit it again, see if it works.
All
Let's
right,
test it. Let's get it over with.
on the count
Everybody,
of
this is what it's like when we don't do a podcast
all
together
right,
for months.
on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. I'm muting.
Okay, say something because we
Can
don't
you
hear
hear
you
me
talk.
still?
Yeah, we hear you. So yeah, your shit don't work. So well,
All right, now. All right, now I'm back on. Did you?
yeah, we heard you. We heard you every time. You were muting us. I don't think you're muting yourself.
Well, where the hell is my mute button?
It's because you were asking, can you hear me? And we go, yes. Did you hear us say
No,
yes?
no, I did not hear the reply.
You're muting us. So do you have headphones in?
Yes, of course I do with my microphone.
Okay. Are you
I
hitting the
make a
mute button?
motion that we send Danny back to spring training.
Yeah, we're gonna have to send you down. Yeah, we're gonna
Triple A.
AAA. Yeah, we're gonna send you down. Send you down to Louisville. Is that where the Reds send them? I don't know. What would be Chicago's minor league team? Up there in Chicago, Danny.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I'll just
Iowa Cubs.
Iowa Cubs. Okay, there you go. So anyway, this guy, this Longshoreman guy. I mean, he's like a character out of Central Casting. He literally he talks like he's in The Sopranos, and he's sitting there and he's giving these speeches and he's talking about no one cares about the longshoremen and the supply chain and everything comes on off these ports, and if we don't get what we want, you're not going to get what you want. And it's like America just went through all the supply chain nonsense with COVID. We don't need you to rub this in our eyeballs. And it's like this guy, I can't believe, you can tell he's truly the boss. He's the boss's boss because nobody has the authority or the power or influence to yank that man from out front of a television and be like, shut the fuck up. It's unreal. This guy's like, when like there's a crime scene and the news crew show up and they try to find the biggest, dumbest hilljack to stick a camera in their face. This guy doesn't realize he's the biggest, dumbest hilljack. And it's just like, I see videos, the more videos I see of him, the more shocking it is of how he's talking. And it's like, he's going to make the whole country hate the longshoremen.
yeah.
It's unbelievable.
So you mean Marlon Brando wasn't in the back screaming Stella?
Yeah, dude, it's like, he's got this, I don't know what he's wearing these gold glasses. I don't know, someone said they're from Tiffany. Like, they look like they're gold framed fancy pimp glasses. He wears this big gold chain. And now your guys are telling me he shows up driving in a Bentley and he talks like Tony Soprano, at the junkyard making threats about how we're going to do business. And it's just like, I mean, there's got to be people in the West Wing of the Biden White House that are just like, we are so fucked. We are so fucked. And then he gets on TV and he goes, yeah, the president's gonna call me and he's gonna Taft-Hartley me. And most people don't know what that is, but it's basically make him go to work. Taft-Hartley does a bunch of things, and he goes, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. So a cooling off period for 90 days. And he's like, we used to do like 30 containers an hour. Now, my guys aren't going to work. We might do 8 containers an hour for 90 days. They're going to be losing money paying us to work. And it's just like, this guy, literally, you just want to like hunt him down and beat his fucking head in. It's just like, even if you're pro-union, you just got to be like, this guy, oh my God, like this isn't 1950. Everybody, the media can't, there would be a time when in 1975 when this guy would show up, MS or NBC just wouldn't put him on TV, or they would just edit out, like they only play 10 seconds of him talking. But this guy shows up everywhere and he just keeps digging and digging and digging. And I just don't see the world supporting him on his side. I feel like this is going to
Well, you know
blow
what they
up.
say.
Am I
You know they
wrong?
no, you're right because remember, absolute power absolutely corrupts, and he probably feels that he is at that level.
Yeah. What was it?
So
What
it's
did you say? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kraken.
so it's my understanding that they've been offered a 50% pay raise over what is it, 5 years? And they're holding out for
70,
70%
yeah,
pay raise
75. I read
with
that too.
with zero automation in the future.
Apparently, one of their big concerns. So I have also read that they've refused a 50% hike in their salaries, and they want I read it was 73%. And then the other thing is when if you see the Tony Soprano guy and he's got workers behind him holding signs, at least half the signs aren't asked or talk are not talking about working wages. They're talking about automation. And apparently they don't like, again, and we just went through all of these backlogs at these ports, trying to get these containers unloaded and get them sorted, cracked open, and the stuff shipped out to either customs or to the right truck or to the right docks, to get stuff moving. And so apparently these guys don't like, there's these automated robot things that'll pick up containers and drop them onto, I saw video of it. They look like they're like flatbed tractor trailers, but they sit like, I don't know, 2.5 feet, 3 feet high, and they drop. They're 8 by 40, just like a large shipping container. There goes a big truck. Can you guys hear that? Straight
Mm-mm.
pipes, baby. Um, it was as a matter of fact, it was a shipping container that just went by, and this thing, all of a sudden, it's robotic, and then it drives off, and it takes the container to where it needs to go, and they apparently hate all that, and it's just like, so, like, this is the future. Like, what are these guys trying? So they want 73%. They want 73% wage increase, and on top of that, they don't want the ports to run better and faster. Everything, we've had stuff shipped in. We've had to deal with stuff at ports of entry and deal with customs and deal with, stuff getting checked. And it takes forever. And these guys just don't want this stuff to run better. And it's like, and they want to try to shut the country down. They're claiming to do this, and it's like, I just don't see, especially with Donald Trump running for president, I just don't see how this is going to go well. The Harris campaign's got to be panicking about this,
Oh
right?
yeah, because I'm sure that they endorsed the uh, the Harris bozo ticket.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And
So anyway,
well,
okay, go ahead.
okay. Here's the thing with that. Automation in some instances is good. Automation in some instances is bad because it does cost jobs. So on the side of the union, I could see them not wanting to cost jobs, and more automation means more loss of jobs. Is that what they're really fighting? Could be. Who knows?
It could be, some of it could be loss of jobs. Also, some of it could be, like maybe it could be loss of overtime. If they can run better during work hours, they don't have to work as much overtime. Well, and also the other thing is too, it could be a situation where it's not really a loss of jobs. It's kind of like as people retire and age out, or they find better uses of people, that they just don't replace them as they quit or as they retire. I mean, I'm not like the
Regu-
Tony Soprano character hasn't even made a good argument as to why he's saying this.
he didn't even mention factored in attrition in any way.
No, no. I mean, like somebody was making an argument. They were saying like, what was it? Like a large shipping like one of the biggest ones, like one of the biggest shipping container ships holds like 14,000 shipping containers, and it would take using the old way. I can't like the number I was hearing was crazy. They said it would take like 2 weeks to empty that ship. And I could be wrong or I could be misremembering, or maybe the person was talking is not accurate. But it was many weeks, and it was like they're just saying now that they can get the containers off the ship better with these new technologies. And it's like, okay, well, can't the longshoremen spend more time working in the warehouses and moving the containers around and working in the warehouses and less time loading and unloading off the ship? Like, I don't understand what the problem is here. You make sense? Like, I mean,
Well,
it's not like there's going to be less people working. It's just maybe you don't need as many people to physically take the containers off the boat. And maybe you have that, and since they can come off faster, you have more people working in the warehouses.
Well, I think there's a whole other facet to the automation argument they're making. So they're trying to get a 70 to 75% pay increase. The
Yep.
problem is when you go on strike and you can price yourself out of jobs. So the automation technology is out there. They use it worldwide, and they've proven that it's much more effective than the old school human ways of doing it. So if you start putting no automation clauses into the contract, it's actually they're trying to turn it into insurance against pricing themselves out of jobs. So you can wind up, if you don't have an automation clause, it's okay, you get your 73%, but then we're going to start automating to make up for that 73%, and it'll start eliminating jobs. It's kind of like the
That's an
self-checkout at Walmart.
right,
that's an excellent point.
right.
That's an excellent
No,
point.
and I fully agree with you because I actually witnessed it back in the early 70s. I'll make this very quick. I worked at a steel mill right out of high school, and I was out on the ore docks. So the big lake ships would come in, they would remove their cargo hatches, and these unloading machines called Hewlett unloaders would go down with these big bucket scoops, take one scoop at a time, run it back and drop it on hopper. Well, it took at least 12 to 14 hours with four of those unloader machines trying to unload an ore boat. Well, it was the same thing. Everybody wanted more money, new contracts, this or that. Then within 2 years, all those unloader machines were gone because now the ore boats had self unloaders. They had a big boom with a conveyor belt system. Therefore, dropping it
Oh,
right into the hopper.
I've seen that.
Therefore, with no need to have manual unloading machines. And guess what? At least 40 jobs were lost. And it was the same thing at a contract time. They priced themselves right out of it. I was right there and I seen it.
It's kind of like, if I were to keep this on, on genre with the pod, I'd be like the longshoremen want to argue that, they're okay with Dylan 650s, but they don't want you running the Dylan 1050.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, okay, like I don't, yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So let me ask you I ask you guys this because you would probably have better insight into this than I would anyway. Like all these people hooting and hollering, like this, like okay, Mister Tony Soprano guy. He's like, oh yeah, the first week people are gonna, they'll put us in the news, but they're not going to really care. The second week, the car dealer's not going to be able to sell cars, and the whatever's like, is this really going to be that bad, or will the West Coast and truckers just, and flying stuff in, will this just, I don't know,
Well, you have to remember.
get around
You have
this?
to remember one thing. every, you know how they say all politics is local. Well, this strike from the Longshoreman is only on the Atlantic seaboard and the Gulf Coast. All right, the
Yeah,
West
that's what I'm
Coast is a
saying.
totally separate union. So goods and materials are still coming in from there. Does everything come in from the West Coast? Of course not. On the East Coast where they're on strike, are they threatening to shut down, basically the economy? Might be. So it's going to be interesting on what the manufacturers and shippings and all the other things are, how are they going to handle it? And I agree with you, Marky. You better believe that the Biden waltz ticket right now is pretty much chewing their fingernails off on this one. It's going to be really interesting.
Well, like I do know, like during COVID, one of the issues like we had for the range was trying to buy a tractor and getting, like getting inventory. Even Deere is American made, not all of it now, but they couldn't get parts to finish making things. And then, you've got Kubota, which is from Japan. And then you've got a lot of these like the Agco Massey and Fendt, and a lot of these are international brands. Like they're in Europe, and they're some of them are made here or made different parts, and like there's parts of my tractor that are made in Finland and other parts of it that are made in France. So I know that, like, what was it they were talking about? Remember the bridge? Like, well, that kind of went out of the news. The container ship that hit the bridge just like this year, that was going to close. What was it? The port of Baltimore.
Yes.
I know that they were talking about, what was it? One of the big dealers, one of the big tractor dealers was saying, who was it? Was it Massey or was it um not Massey? Maybe who was it? Maybe it was Fendt or one of these. One basically most of these tractors that come into the U.S. come into that port, and then they have to, like, they come in and containerize. Then they kind of unpack them from containers to put them onto flatbeds, and then they flatbed them. They take them to that warehouse. They put them on flatbeds. It's like a pre-assembly place somewhere around Baltimore. Then from that warehouse, they end up going to the dealers, and the dealers do final delivery, like they put the wheels on and shit like that. So this guy was saying that this company, whatever tractor company it was going to have to probably move deliveries down to Savannah or Charleston, and then maybe they would truck the stuff up to this assembly warehouse near a port in Baltimore. And so he was saying it was going to be more expensive, it was going to slow things down and do all this and all that. So, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, should everyone go out and buy toilet paper again? Like, are we about to go through, another like COVID toilet paper run? Like some people want to act like Alex Jones type, the lizard people are coming, they're going to take out the toilet paper, they're going to close down the ports. Or is this all going to be nothing? Like, I don't know. Like, I haven't paid that much
Well,
attention
I
yet.
have a question for you. Would Biden invoke the Taft-Hartley law?
I don't think he'd
That's
go
a,
against the unions on that one.
well, I guess it depends. I mean, I think it depends. Okay. Well, that's getting into politics. And we'll get the guns suited up, everybody. But poor Danny, he's been waiting. So you're talking unions, you're talking 2024 election,
Correct. And
and you're talking either you describe it as the Rust Belt or you describe it as the Blue Wall. Okay, and so it's Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, and Ohio's no longer a swing state, at least right
No,
now.
it's red.
Like it's red. I mean, like it's not a matter of Trump's going to win. It's a matter of whether Sherrod Brown, the Democratic senator, is going to be able to hold his seat. Pennsylvania is probably a battleground state. I mean, it always was a swing state, and I have a long history on this podcast of not liking Pennsylvania politically because you stay up all night waiting for Pennsylvania to But it's like Pennsylvania seems to be where there's a lot of problems. If there's going to be issues with crazy voting or crazy
Oh
ballots or
yeah.
nonsense, and Pennsylvania pisses me off. Well, here's what's interesting: big union presence in Michigan. Okay, Michigan's a swing state. Like Bill Clinton famously criticized his wife Hillary in 2016. I mean, we don't know specifically what he said, but we're pretty sure it's something like, "Bitch, you better get your ass up to Michigan and campaign." And her campaign people were like, "Bill, shut
Right.
up. We're not worried about Michigan." And they lost Michigan. And Elisa Slotkin, who's running for Senate in Michigan, a private communication was put out. She's talking to somebody within the Democratic Party. She's a Democrat, and she's trying to win a Democratic seat, a Democratic Senate seat. And she said, and I quote, that Harris is not going to win Michigan.
Really, I did not see that.
Yeah, they tried to downplay it, and maybe that was the trumpet's call to get the Democrats to come up there and maybe pay more attention. Well, there's a bunch of Muslims that live in Dearborn, so that's one of the issues dealing with Israel. But that brings you into the Taft-Hartley thing. If Michigan is truly not winnable, not winning right now, maybe the Harris campaign's like, don't Taft-Hartley this right now
Oh
because
yeah.
it could cost us Michigan.
Well, another thing that's going to hurt the Harris campaign in Michigan is that the UAW did not endorse. Well, they didn't endorse Harris and they didn't endorse Trump because I'm sure you've seen it. The president of the union, he spoke at the Republican convention. They didn't endorse Trump because they took a poll of their membership, and it was 61% did not want to endorse Harris. So the union management actually listened to the rank and file. That's going to hurt Harris in Michigan also. Probably the Muslim community in the Dearborn area is going to hurt the Harris commission, the Harris campaign rather. And you're 1,000% correct. If they invoke the Taft-Hartley Act right now, that's going to be wow. I'm anxious to see now how this plays out. It's,
But it'll be interesting to see how the media portrays it. Let's say that Mr. Tony Soprano guy, who's apparently drives a Bentley, which I got to see this. Um, he's getting on there. From New England to Houston, and we're going to shut down the economy, and you're going to know who we are. No one cares about the Longshoreman, and he's making it all about him. And it really causes a lot of angst right in the middle of a presidential campaign. Is the media suddenly going to start saying, why won't President Biden Taft-Hartley this to win? Why won't President Biden Taft-Hartley this? Because he's trying to help Harris, but he's wrecking the economy to try to help Harris. He's sacrificing all of us. Sean Hannity will say it, that they're sacrificing all of us to try to carry Michigan. But, the mainstream media won't
no,
admit it.
no, they won't bring that up whatsoever because it doesn't fit their narrative.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's going to be very, very, very interesting, and here's the thing too. The only reason that Biden is hanging on is so as soon as they sentence this kid, he's going to pardon him. That's the only reason that he's still president. You'll never convince me otherwise.
I mean, I'm convinced that. I mean, I don't understand why Kamala Harris isn't president right now. I've been making this argument for 2 years. I've been making it very aggressively for a year. It's just like, come on. Like, this is not, like the world's getting more and more dangerous. And you don't want to have a situation where, like, you could have an adversary to the United States, an adversary to the United States thinking that they could do some kind of attack against the United States because they have factored, whether rightly or wrongly, that they can get within the decision cycle of a debilitated president. And they were like, we can get away with this for the first 3 hours, before while Biden's asleep, and it's just like, And the thing is, if Kamala loses, does she still get to be president? They just go ahead and remove Biden,
Oh.
and she'll be president for 3 months or 2 months
I don't.
or 3
I
months.
don't
Yeah.
think so. I I'm going to stick to my guns on this and say Biden will remain president until he could pardon his son on whatever date that is. Then he won't give two shits after that because he's on his way out
Well, but after
anyway.
the but after the election,
I understand, but
it,
if
it,
his kid still isn't sentenced, until a month after
oh,
the election, Biden's going to hang on for the pardon power. You will never convince me differently.
oh, okay. I had forgotten where douchebag was in his process.
Why do
So
you think all of a sudden that his kid wants to rush to judgment so he could get the sentence, so the final court papers will be done? Biden can't pardon him until he's sentenced and convicted.
Yeah, that's why he pled it
okay.
out.
So then, if Harris loses, then all of a sudden you'll see everything starts to move very quickly
Yes.
for but the final 2 months. All of a sudden, all this stuff's going to start happening. You think, okay, let's talk about Joe Biden pardons. Does Joe Biden start issuing preemptive pardons for maybe to his brother or to some of this other stuff that they keep, you keep hearing grumblings about? Like,
You will not see anything until after the election because they don't want all of this stuff to make news. They're going to be sitting on their hands until they see which way the winds blow in this election. When Harris loses, which I hope, I'll say it, you will see a flurry of activity out of the Oval Office with pardons, this, that, and all the other stuff. Mark my words on it.
okay, that's the MC. I mean, okay, you are schooling us all. I haven't really put my head into the political game in a
Well,
few
that's
months
because you've
because
been building brick shit houses out at the range.
yes, I have, and I'll tell you what, these Amish. I don't know if you like whenever there's rain, you can't find Amish with a search warrant. Like there must be something about like suspenders and straw hats that like they're like wet cats. Like you just like they gone. Like I think they smell like or they detect like, ooh, the barometer's dropping. All of a sudden, they just gone, and you can't get a hold of them, and they just disappear. And so I spoke to them 2 days ago. Today was it Thursday? So I spoke to him on Tuesday,
By
and
what? Carrier pigeon? They don't have cell phones.
though these guys do, they do have they're allowed to have cell phones for work if it's for their
Oh,
job.
really?
They can't they can't text. They don't have textability. There's no internet on their phone, and there's no texting and no pictures. But you can call and leave a voicemail, and they can call you back and leave a voicemail. Um, they apparently have they charge. They're allowed to have because they had told me the other day because we were talking about I don't know something with the range and power. I was asking them if they'd lost power because of the hurricane. And we didn't lose power here at the range, but they're right down the street. Like I was shocked we didn't lose power here. I don't know how we didn't lose power. And I was like, "Did you guys lose power?" And this family, I've been to their house, and I could have sworn they had electric lights in their house because I did not know what I was going to walk into when I went over there.
Uh-oh. They're going
And
to hell.
they got and he goes, no. He goes, well, he says, I don't know if we lost power. He says we don't have electricity. And he says, well, we have they apparently have big batteries that they use to power maybe a dryer. Like I don't know if they've got a big battery and use a solar panel, but they apparently have a washer and dryer. They definitely have a dryer, and they're running that off of a battery. And so the electric I may have seen, I thought the light was electric. Maybe it was something else, but I thought it was electric. But it might be solar power going to giant batteries. So yeah. Anyway, I can't remember what the but anyway. Oh, they so anyway. so I was talking to them, and they said they just finished building a house. They're starting another house. They need at least 4 weeks. They like, we could do 3, but I'm going to tell you it's not really, because they got to come back here and finish this other project. And so I've decided I'm pulling stuff out of order. There's some inside stuff that needs to be done so that I can get the electricians to come in. I'm hiring a new electrician. So I'm not going to wait for 4 weeks and then do multiple weeks with the electrician and multiple weeks. I'm going to go ahead and take it out of order, and this next step, I'm going to do it myself. So that is developed this week, and I'll get it done. It'll be fine. I'm practically living out here at this point. So if I'm out here
Well,
24 hours a day, I can get it done.
I know that I'm sure the range needs some mowing if you've been that busy with the building. Yeah, have you let the mowing been slipping?
No, well, I did for most of the year because with all the construction, but actually I just got a lot of the range cut before the hurricane came in. So I was, everything needed to be cut. I'm within reason that there's some stuff that could be cut back, but I was able to even cut what needed to be cut up front, cut around the pit, cut to make the rifle range functional. And then I disconnected the grapple and I put the front end lane shark. And I've started to do a little bit of lane shark work where like trails or down rifle ranges where stuff grows out sideways. This as a highway worker. Shit
Oh,
grows
yeah.
out, horizontal.
Yes.
So I've started that, and that process started right before the hurricane. And I'll tell you what, it is so wet out here. Like
Well, how much rain
it's
did you get? We got a
it
sprinkle.
we got I shit you not. When we got heavy rain, we got heavy rain the way everybody else got heavy rain. It's like, oh, heavy rain. It rains heavy for maybe 15 minutes or an hour or, whatever it is. And maybe comes in waves. We had all of that. But it didn't stop raining. Like, I kid you not. It rained, at least a drizzle. It rained for 4 days.
Really?
It's unbelievable. If you think, because it's like, it's not raining a lot, but it's like, man, it's just raining. It's raining. You get up, it's raining. You look at it, it's like, oh, it's not raining. And you're like, it's drizzling a little bit. Then it starts drizzling a lot. And you're so it hasn't rained here in a couple of days. And the range is very hilly, right? And so people know that if you at the tops of hills, the wind will dry out the hills and the gravity will pull the water from the tops of the hills as the water kind of works its way down, and drains down the creeks and drains even underground, right? It has not rained here in days, and the tops of the hills are still muddy.
Wow.
It's like, holy
You-
shit, and it's like you start asking yourself, I'll tell you what, in about a week or so, somebody south of us on the Mississippi is going to get flooded.
Yeah, they are. Yes,
Yeah,
they are.
that's to be the next thing. That's going to be the next thing. So, all right, enough of that. So, you know what? Let me tell you, Ukraine. Let me tell you an automation story I thought was interesting because we were talking about the Longshoreman, and then we did the automation. Have you guys heard of these driverless cars? Right?
Yes.
They want to do driverless cars. Well, they do these things. It's probably closer to Kraken. They do these out in San Francisco. There's like Google does them. I think Tesla does them. There's some company called Waymo that does them. And, it's these self-driving, like they're like taxi cabs. You get an app probably, and Waymo shows up and the car drives you home. Well, there's a story that's made the news from October the 2nd. This woman, she's in a Waymo car, so it's a driverless car. She's in it by herself. And I guess she's an attractive girl. I mean, she thinks she's like Indian. And viral video of a San Francisco woman being subjected to alleged harassment by two men inside of a Waymo self-driving car has prompted renewed concerns about the safety of passengers in autonomous vehicles. 28-year-old woman who requested to go by Amina V was riding in a Waymo self-driving car on Saturday when it was stopped at a red light. Two men approached the vehicle, one blocking it from moving and the other joining in allegedly to harass her. they weren't really harassing her. I mean, they were trying to get her number. And what's interesting is these automated vehicles, they don't want to, like if a child runs out in front of an automated vehicle or a dog or something happens, the vehicle's going to stop. And what people are realizing, you can literally step in front of one of these cars. That car is done. That car is just going to sit there. And so, like, the driver's not going to be like honking the horn, get out of the way, nudging the car. A driver could drive around like, fuck you, get out of my way, asshole. An automated vehicle will just sit there. And guess what? Your ass is stuck. And this girl was stuck in this car with these dudes trying to get her attention because they thought she was hot. They're like, hey, can I get your number? Hey, whatever. And she's in a part of town that she'd not want to be in. I'm sure it wasn't terrible. But it's just
no, you're wrong there. All of Frisco is terrible.
Yeah. So, but you see my point. It's like this great idea.
Yeah.
Like, this will be great. This will be perfect. And it's like nobody thought about this. Like, not that anybody would, but it's one of these laws of unintended consequences. Can you imagine in a world where 90% of the cars are driverless cars? And every time some dude sees a cute girl or a hot woman in a car, or heaven forbid, he's from like some, dirtbag country, like, hey, how much for the women? It's like dude just stops the car, but he's like, I'll give you $1,000. Do me right now. Like, these women can't get away from this. And it's like, I mean, as a business person, this story, I mean, like they're not going to portray it as this, but it's like this story, like, this is dead. This driverless car thing for this is there's been a couple of these apparently. This article makes reference to a second one that happened. Once it happens once or twice, it's just like the Kias. The dudes that steal the Kias.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Marky.
Every major
Marky, what is my work car? Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, every major city, they're stealing these Kias. Well, every major city, if you can identify a driverless car, which is pretty easy to do, then like, oh, I can stop that car and rob it, or I can stop that car and talk to that girl, or I can stop that car and take that purse out of that, or I could do whatever. Like, they could stop the car and maybe start stealing shit off the car.
Well, they could stop the car and take your pizza. Domino's actually has those driverless pizza delivery cars now. Did you know?
No.
Yes, look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So they have a test market to where Domino's has those driverless pizzas. It goes to the address that ordered the pizza. I don't know how if the person has to go to it or whatever, but they are actually trying those. So somebody's going to get really pissed off if their pizza gets carjacked.
A dingo stole my pizza.
Yeah, look it up.
I'll tell you the vision that comes to my head on that story is about 15 frat brothers that are stoned off their ass, standing in the front yard of the frat house going, dude, where's my pizza?
How about it?
Yeah.
How about it? Yeah, look, maybe you could put that a link to it. If it, I'm almost sure it was Domino's. Could have been Pizza Hut, but they have driverless delivery pizzas now.
Yeah, it is Domino's.
Oh, it was Domino's.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, since we're talking about cars, I want to share this story because I hadn't a chance to share it on pod. I was coming back from the range, heading into the city, heading into Cincinnati, and it was late. Like, for me, it was late, like 2:00 in the morning, 2:30.
You mean, Marky, for you, 8:00 at night is late.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, boy, how my life has changed. So I'm on 275. It's the loop around the city, and there's no, nobody out there. Like, it's a weeknight, whatever it is. There's just nobody out there. And I see coming up, some cars coming up, and I'm getting a slow lane, and they're coming up behind me, and it looks like they're racing. And, it's like a Charger. There's, what's the 4-door car? Is it the Charger, the 4-door
yes.
one? Yeah, so there's a Charger and there's an SUV, and they're racing. So I get in this 3-lane road. I think it was maybe 4, but I got in a slow lane. And I was like, I see these boys coming. And I'm in my truck. My truck, is not small. It's a big Tundra. And they come up and they pass me. It turns out one of them, they went by so fast. So it was the Charger on the outside lane, like the speed lane, or like he was riding 2 lanes. And then very close to my truck was an SUV, and when it shot by me, and I'm doing 70. These vehicles had to have been doing 150 miles an hour. And they went by, and I was like, oh, it's a Charger and a Jeep,
A Hellcat, yeah.
like a
Right.
Cherokee. And I'm like, wait a minute. That can't be that. I was like, oh my God, it's one of those track
Yep.
hawks. It's like it's the Cherokee that's got the Viper motor in it, or whatever the motor. I think they've got a big giant, Hellcat
Yeah,
type
they do.
motor in it. And these things, they look like Cherokees. The only way you can tell them, I always heard, is I've only seen 1 or 2 before, but there's like this little black little bird hawk badge on the back right of the car. And I was like, my God, and this track hawk, they went by me. They had to have been doing at least 150, and they were accelerating. The air disruption from this Trackhawk pulled my truck halfway over into that lane. I was like, holy fuck. I was like, holy fuck. And then, I was like, I recover. And then another car, like a kid, like he's in his, his rice burner car. He's trying to catch him. And, it's like, man, I gotta get home. Like, I'll tell you what, these fools been driving crazy since COVID.
Yeah.
1,000, 1,000, 1,000, blacked out sheriff's Charger, no lights, and he comes zooming by. And I don't know if they knew he was there and they were running, or if he was pacing them to get on the radio, but he was doing over 100 too. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, they are out tonight. I got to get off this road. And it was like, damn, like this, like Fast and Furious out here. I wish I'd had a dash cam to show this, because I'll tell you what, it made me, the next time I get a chance, because I'm actually might go and, and go walk a lot where they sell Jeeps, Cherokees, and for a reason. And I'm gonna take a look, see if they have a Trackhawk. I'm gonna see if they let me drive one. I was
Remember,
impressed.
Mrs. Danny has one.
She didn't have a
No, she
Trackhawk.
wouldn't let me go that far. And plus, it's like another 45,000 more than what she paid for hers.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. So, they're talking about all the they're going to shut down the economy and shut down the supply chain. What was it? Stellantis, and they have what do you call it?
Yeah, laid
Furloughed.
off.
They furloughed. Yeah, they laid them off a bunch of the
Yes,
Jeep
they did.
lines, because none of these Jeeps are selling. And there's like months and months worth of inventory on all these lots. And so they've shut down the Wrangler line, and they've shut down
The Cherokee line.
the Cherokee
Yes,
line.
they
Yeah.
did.
So it's like, well, so if people can't get cars to sell, you might have to go buy a Jeep, because that's all you can get. But what was I going to say? What was my point? I forgot the point I was going to
About
make.
laying people off.
Yeah, no, but it was you know what? I'm getting old, and
Well,
I was going to make some.
I can tell
Go ahead.
you one thing. We went to the Jeep dealer last week for her, rotate the tire, oil change, get ready everything before winter. Now hers is a 2019. In 2019, we paid $50,000 for it. That exact same vehicle, an exact twin to her, is now $77,000. All right, for the exact.
That's what I
Uh,
wanted to
all
mention.
right,
I
for
just
the
remembered. So
well, let me finish. So when
okay,
we were in the service department, the sales manager came up to her and said, "Would you please sell us your Jeep?" And she goes, "Well, why would I sell it?" And like I said, it's a 2019. It just turned only 50,000 miles. We don't drive it. And he wanted to buy
hmm
that in the worst way. He offered her $22,000 on the spot, and you know damn well he would put it on the lot for 25 or 28 because people can't afford the $77,000 ones, but they'll sure come in and buy a 25 to $30,000 one. It's crazy, isn't it?
well, here's the thing. This is how bad, because people talk about inflation and food and gas and everything is more expensive, and it's like they're shutting the Jeep line down. People don't want to buy the Jeeps. Well, they're too expensive, and it's like, well, how expensive is a Jeep? I mean, like, I've seriously looked at Wranglers 2 or 3 times in my life. I'm not a Jeep person, but I can make a justification for having one. And there is a Wrangler, the Jeep. There is a Wrangler that they sell now that's
Yeah,
$100,000.
it's
And I
insane.
heard that. I was like, you are out of I said, there is no way that's true. There is no way that's true. I typed in, I typed in Jeep Wrangler, Cincinnati, 100K. I found two Jeep Wranglers. One of them was $106,000
For,
here.
yeah, probably the Moab, Moab. That's a really expensive one. It's insane, isn't it? It's insane.
I thought, yeah, I've never even heard. Like, I know that there was like what's the highest level Wrangler? It was the Rubicon. Was, I thought, like the highest level trim. I guess there's limited ones. I guess with the Moab you said. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, like, do you know what I paid for that Porsche?
Yes, I do.
I paid $86,000 for it, and it was the height of the all the bullshit. And then with tax, it was like 90 some thousand because I had to pay sales tax. It's a used car, and it's like, you can pay $106,000 for a Wrangler.
Yeah, that loses 50% of its value the day you drive it off the lot.
And then everybody's complaining about these K trucks that are coming in. And it's like you can buy those for like 15 or 20, and it's like, well, yeah, why wouldn't you? So anyway, we don't make this the car pod, but it's like, okay, whatever. So like, so
Well,
Kraken.
back to politics real quick. It's the inflation. You don't think that's playing on a lot of these people's minds? Like you just said, $100,000 Jeep. This inflation is crazy. All this unions wanting more money. I don't think I would run for office now for all the tea in China.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
So Kraken,
Mm-hmm.
you're. I sent you a story, and it was an interesting story. I thought when it happened, and the Amber Geyer. I call her Geyer, but it's Geiger. The police officer, the woman who shot Botham Jean. Do I have his name right? Yeah, it's Botham Jean, or is it Jean Botham? Botham Jean. She lived in an ant farm in Texas. She's a police officer. She's off duty, and she pulled into the parking garage of the ant farm, apparently parked on the wrong level, walked into the wrong floor, walked into the wrong apartment. She thought it was her apartment. Turns out it was Botham Jean's apartment. And she shot and killed this man in his own house. And um, she was given 10 years prison. You know, it's a terrible situation, rightfully so. I mean, there's just no two ways about this. And she's a miracle. She only got 10 years. I mean, like, and like her brother, or like the victim's brother, came up and hugged her. Like, Botham would have wanted you to find Christ and forgive you. And like they hugged in the court, and it was like everybody was crying. It's just terrible situation. Well, she's up for parole. She served 5 years of her sentence.
That's been
And
5 years already? Wow.
Yeah.
yep. And she's probably done good time. And what's happening now is she only got 10. It was a gift, she got 10. The family was like trying to forgive her. The mother's not completely over it, obviously. But they're like, they're trying to be Christian about it, do your time. And she went in, of course, she's in jail. She's got counsel. The counsel immediately starts filing appeals, trying to get the thing overturned, trying to do this, trying to do that. And it starts to kind of grate on the family because it's like she doesn't want to take responsibility. Why is she trying to appeal this? And now she's going to come up before a parole board. And the family now, at least the mother, is like going to testify before the parole board to be like, she needs to serve her 10. Like, she just can't do 5 years and get out for shooting this innocent man in his home. And I got to be honest. I mean, as much as I feel terrible for her, I feel absolutely terrible for her. And I think you and I disagree on it. I feel like she should probably stay in jail. It's in the interest of justice. She probably ends up staying in jail. Um, do you think she should? Do you think she should be paroled after 5 years? Kraken?
Well, first off, she is going to get paroled. Uh, if I remember correctly, what she was convicted of was involuntary manslaughter. There were several extenuating circumstances, extreme fatigue. If I remember right, she had worked, if not a double shift, she had worked a considerable amount of overtime that day. Uh, she should have known better. It was a bad shoot all the way around. There's not a
Mm-hmm.
way to justify the shoot. Not being able to justify it doesn't mean that it is impossible to understand how it could have happened. It shouldn't have happened, but when there's fatigue and stress involved and you open a door that you think is yours, should better tactics and training have taken hold? Yes. Is it justified? No. Can you understand how it could happen?
Yeah.
Possibly. Okay, so
Yeah,
with the
possibly.
charge that she caught, 10 years was, I believe, the maximum sentence for the charge that she was convicted of. And the way the criminal justice system works, and it's pretty much across the country this way with a few exceptions, you're going to start out with X number of years that you were sentenced to. And then when you do your good time, it starts knocking time off your sentence. So in most states in the prisons, in the state prison systems, federal's different. If you do good time, you're not getting written up, you're not violating rules, you're doing any programs that you've been court assigned to complete while in the joint, you start earning your good time. So basically, you get all your good time up front and they start taking it away. So the day you walk in, you know you're eligible for parole on a 10-year sentence in most places in 5 years. Now, if you start getting written up and you start catching infractions, they take that away. So if you get 6 months good time taken away for a major infraction, now you're not up for parole for 5 years and 6 months. So the fact that she's basically done 50% of her sentence tells me that she's been, quote, a model prisoner. Remembering that she's a police officer, she's also been kept in a segregated wing. So it was
That was going to be my
probably
that was going to be my question. So, like, she's in a women's prison. Is she segregated from general
absolutely,
population?
absolutely. She's not in Gen Pop. She's in some type of ad seg unit. Uh, but the fact of the matter is, she made a mistake, but she does not seem to be of the criminal mentality of the usual prison population. So if she's completed all of her programs, done good time, just like any other criminal out there that would have caught that same charge, done the same type of behavior during her time in the joint, she's going to be put on paper for 5 years. There's you can go and you can testify at the parole hearing, and they're going to take that into account. But prisons are overcrowded to start with. They need to have a justification for keeping her if she's eligible for parole, such as violating prison rules, showing no remorse, not being rehabilitated. Well, she has shown all of that. Even through the court process, she showed remorse. That's why she was convicted of the involuntary manslaughter versus the more serious charges that they could have tried for. So, police officer or not, that's the way the criminal justice system works. Now, the bad part of that is what they call truth in sentencing. And this is where truth in sentencing comes in. So you get sentenced to 10 years, and the family walks out and thinks, well, 10 years was probably a just sentence. There's no truth in sentencing in a lot of states. So the fact that she's up for parole in 5, and all of a sudden the family's going, holy shit, she got 10 years. How is she doing half of her time? Good time. Good time is used as a tool to help control behavior in the prison and cut down on violence.
Yes.
With a few exceptions, truth in sentencing is not a real thing. In my home state of Iowa, when it comes to a life sentence, they actually do have truth in sentencing. So if you catch life in Iowa, you go out in a body bag short of a commutation or a pardon from the governor. In most states, a life sentence is some type of an equation based on average lifespan, your age. So in a lot of states, you can catch a life sentence as long as there's not a clause to it, without the possibility of
Yeah.
parole. So you can actually catch a life sentence, say in California, and actually get out before you die.
So you
One,
don't think when the family goes and gives the victim impact statement that's not going to weigh on the
nope,
minds of the parole board?
nope, nope. Because if she's up for parole in half of her time, it's obvious that she has completed all programs, not had any infractions, shown remorse, which she showed remorse during the trial. She's done everything she needs to do to be eligible. So it's kind of like suicide watch. If they keep you on suicide watch, they have to be able to justify it. If you come up for parole, especially on something like an involuntary manslaughter charge, they have to have some type of reason to keep you past your parole date.
Okay.
Continuous violations of prison rules, lack of remorse, not completing programs. The fact that she's eligible tells me that she's completed all that. And when cops are sentenced on charges like that, they usually are not security threat risks in the prison system. It's the dirty cops, that were taking bribes or shaking people down, or they're the ones that have problems in prison as far as following rules and stuff like that. She just plain old fucked up and is remorseful. What's in her heart, who knows? But at least what she professes and what they can document, there's probably not going to be a reason that they can deny her parole.
Oh, they even proved in court like she was like she's texting, like I guess her boyfriend was also, on the department, or she's a sheriff or she's a city, I can't remember. And like she was panicking. She's like, "Oh my God, I fucked up. Oh my God, I fucked up." Like, it's like trying to
Mm-hmm.
even prove, like at what point when she was in this apartment and she's shooting this man, she's telling him to freeze because she's in her apartment. Does she realize, wait a minute, this isn't my apartment? That's why I call it an ant farm, because I think a lot of people don't understand why I call this an ant farm, because all these places, the garage levels look the same, the hallways look the same, the doors are, all the apartments are like, she literally came up the same. She parked in her spot, like spot 41, just on the fourth floor instead of the third floor, whatever it was. I'm making that up. Then she walked in and she went down the hallway and turned, and it's like, well, how did she unlock and get into her apartment. So let's just say she lived on 311. Well, she went to 411 and she goes to put her key in and the door opened. And she's like, what the fuck? Because like her door was open or ajar. And so she panicked. And she's a cop. So she's trained to go and be aggressive and solve the problem, to engage the problem. That's a lot of people don't understand either. And so, like her trial, I mean, it's like that moment when her brother says that, or the victim's brother says that Botham Jean would have forgiven you and wanted you to find Christ. And when, and like they hugged and they're crying. This is in the courtroom. And then, like the judge was, I think the judge might have been like, it's like, it's unbelievable how this went. Like it just, I mean, like it really reflected. I doubt we should all be as, I would say, Christian courageous as Botham Jean's family. So I will say this: thank the stars that Donald Trump isn't president right now, because I do worry if this story turns into, they're going to let this girl out. Like, everything you just said, Kraken, about how this works with prison, is going to be lost on the average consumer of news when you just start making the arguments. This man wasn't doing anything wrong. He was in the privacy of his own home. He had an expectation of privacy in his own home. And a police officer in uniform barged into his house. There was no calls for service. There was no ancillary crime being committed. Barged into his home. And he's a citizen. He's not a dirtbag person slinging dope, expecting problems, and gets gunned down in his own house. And it's like when you explain that to people, and then you say, well, she got sentenced to 10. She's only doing 5. She's a cute little white girl and the victim is black. Botham Jean from like Jamaica or some shit. It looks terrible. It looks terrible. And it would be nothing for Al Sharpton or one of those kinds of people to show up and start making hay out of this if she gets out, and maybe trying to use it for the election. I could easily see Kamala Harris down there saying crazy shit, trying to get reelected. And that's why I brought this up, because I worry about this one. And I wonder if politics are going to start playing in this.
Yep.
I mean,
All we need is Ben Crump to show up and do a news conference.
yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's the new one now. He's the, So, well, speaking of that guy, so apparently, I always thought that from like the '70s, the big player was who's Saturday Night Fever guy, Staying Alive guy. Is that John Travolta?
Yes.
Right. Well, apparently it's RFK Jr. If you guys,
I know where this is going.
you guys,
You said it to me.
so
I got to plead the fifth.
So okay, so
That
and
gets
it's
back
like
to Palma.
and yeah, yeah, they still, yeah. Hey, I mean, I mean, okay,
He was,
Kraken. The last time you were in Spain, the EU didn't exist, right? Or no, the EU did
No,
no
no,
the no.
no EU.
So yeah, so I don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, is Interpol going to be looking for you? Like, maybe you shouldn't, going to step off a plane and get arrested like the guy who owns Telegram. So, but anyway, so RFK apparently is porking all kinds of women. He's married to, the woman who, what's her name? She's, Cheryl Hines, the actress. That's his wife, his current wife. And it comes out, so he's having, there's apparently like, he's doing something, it's not clear exactly, but he's doing something with this woman who is a reporter, and she works for one of these New York based newspapers, and she famously, apparently, at one point, this woman got on Twitter and said, how come people want to assume that a female reporter that gets a story is sleeping with her subjects? It's so wrong. And, a couple years later, she's doing something with RFK, and it was leaked. She's lost her job. Her fiance has left her, who is also her boss. And it turns out that her fiance who left her, was also blackmailing her, is the one who leaked all this information because he got into her phone. So this was all happening on her phone. And it's like, so this blows up to be a national story. Cheryl Hines is like, I thought his days of whatever were behind him, and she's embarrassed, and and he's saying like we were just exchanging pictures or whatever. And then out comes out at least two more women have come out and be like, "Why, man? I've been dating RFK myself, And so now there's like four women now at least involved in this, and it's like, do you remember where he was meeting these women?
He was consoling them for something, wasn't he?
So he's a big person who, he, and rightfully so, because this is getting in the whole, but he's a big person who's been campaigning against a lot of the vaccines, like the is it measles, MMR, measles, mumps, rubella. They
Oh,
give
he
the
was an
kids.
anti-vaxxer, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, but he's an but he's saying that like he's a person who's been pushing this, not pushing it, but like trying to keep people from hiding evidence that there are connections possibly between autism and some of these vaccines. Well, apparently he's been meeting these women through the anti-vax, kids anti-vax thing. So he goes and hangs out with women that don't want to give their kids the shots, but he likes to give the women the shot. So, so,
The money shot.
he's sticking it
Is
to
that
him,
needle
and
sterile?
it's like this guy.
I'm proud of.
I mean, I don't know. Like more shit that comes. Like he's got a hole in his brain from worms eating part of his brain. Have you heard this one?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a hole in his brain. They like found a dead a black bear, in and then on the road in New York, and then they put it in the back of his car, and then they're like, yeah, let's go out and get something to eat. Now we'll skin the bear later. And then by the time they're hanging out, they come back and they're like, holy shit, the bear's rotten in the back of their car. So like, we're gonna do this rotten fucking bear. So like, it's just, well, let's go take it to the park, Central Park, and they dump it. And so like, this is a big mystery for years because the park people find this dead black bear, and they're like, what the fuck, where'd this come from? And then there was something else he'd done. Like this guy, I don't know if he is the most interesting man in the world, or if he needs to have like his own reality TV show. Like I just don't even know. Like every day, it's like if every day you open up the newspaper and you say to yourself, "What's Donald Trump going to be into today?" It's like every day you open up the newspaper, you'd be like, "Oh, RFK's in the paper for something else today, RFK Jr." And it's just like, good Lord Almighty! I just thought it was a great story.
For some reason, Chappaquiddick comes to mind.
In his defense, he has nothing to do with
I
that.
know that,
So,
but I mean, with the car and everything and bad brakes, things happen.
Yeah, things happen. Hey, with the Kennedys, you know what? You're right. With, a lot of families have like a family crest, and there'll be some Latin thing. It's, Sic Semper Tyrannis or whatever. And the Kennedy one, it just says, things happen. That's on the family crest right there.
Hey, I actually have some gun content.
Holy shit!
I
What's
know.
that?
Don't you laugh at me. And I hope this doesn't open a can of worms. But with all this politics, this, that, the way things are going, crime rates and everything, I'm in the market to buy a new 9 for myself and one that Mrs. Danny could use. I've got it narrowed down to an M&P or a SIG. What's your take?
Oh shit! Here we
Uh,
go.
Oh shit! Are you trolling us right now? Like
no,
seriously?
Danny's a
well,
bot. He's
you
not
know,
real.
I hate.
You're Danny's a bot. That might be the
Yeah, well,
title.
you know, I hate Glocks. I'm not a Glock fanboy. I don't like them whatsoever, and I don't want to go crazy, on the price. So I'm thinking, should I get the Sig? Or, I don't worry about putting add-ons to it, this or that, red dots, this, that. I don't need all that shit. And I've got it narrowed down to the
For,
M&P or the SIG. So I'm asking,
for the benefit of the listener at home, I need to focus in the camera just a little bit here. Do you recall what model of SIG you were
okay,
contemplating?
if I say 235, is that correct or no?
320.
It was three numbers. 320, 350, 335, whatever their 9 is. Just I remember
Well, they make a 320 and a 365.
maybe it was a 3 6. Which one's the double stack? Are they
Well, they both
This or
are.
they're
both
both double
are.
stack?
Hammer gun or striker gun?
It was not a hammer, it was a striker fire.
Well, they're
320.
both striker. The 320. Well, no, the 365 is a striker gun too.
Well,
Oh, that was a
I
hammer.
think it is.
this was that, we they have
Is it real small? Is it kind of small?
medium size. I'm not, as you
Medium
know, I'm
size?
not the gun guy on the show. But anyway,
Yeah.
here's the question. Overall, it doesn't matter if it's ABC 123 model, the Sig or the M&P.
Neither.
Oh Lord.
But
I
I hate
mean,
Glocks. I hate Glocks with a passion.
I know. I mean, okay, so
Well,
okay,
I
so
don't
let me a
have to.
couple
I could
things
go
here.
somewhere else. This is a sub $400 gun.
Yeah. So the SIG P320, which is the duty pistol also for the US military, it's called the M17 now, M17 M18. The long one and the short one. It has a thumb safety on it. The SIG P320s are problematic.
Is that the one that if you drop them,
There's
they fire?
they were well, yeah, they were the early 365s. I think did that too. But
Yeah.
the 320s are suffering from two things. They are firing out of battery, and so they explode, or they're suffering uncommanded discharges where the thing just fires without touching the trigger. It seems to be related to the gun being in a holster. And so, to be fair, it could be a combination of the gun and the holster, especially a retention holster, which you wouldn't really do. But like, I would not, in good conscience, recommend a SIG P320 to you. I wouldn't recommend a SIG P320 to anybody right now. There's too many of them blowing up and shooting people in the legs and the foot.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why
Um,
they're on sale there.
well, you keep like Aim Surplus. Like Aim Surplus seems to pop up with police trade in 320s, and part of me's like, damn, they haven't had them that long. Like, has it been 10 years? And what it is police departments are trading out of these guns because they're starting to have issues. And even if, so here's the problem with the 320 is, even if it's not the gun's fault and it turns out that the gun is nothing wrong with the gun, which I would say that the preponderance of the evidence right now does not look good. I'd say the 320 is starting to look like P. Diddy. There hasn't been a trial. Well, there's been one trial of 320, but there's been one judgment, but it's not looking good. You never know how it's going to turn out, but the 320 is looking like it's at a P. Diddy party. Like there's some bullshit going on with that gun. The So I wouldn't recommend that. The 365. That's a very popular handgun right now. It is like super because you get like a small gun and it holds a bunch of bullets. Like
And I
it's
stand
like I mean
corrected. It is a striker gun, so I stand
yeah, it's a
corrected. I was
striker.
thinking of
It's a
something
striker
else.
gun. It's a striker gun. So I mean, I don't think they have as many problems with the P365. Um, Not that the 360. I mean, I've seen a couple of these 365s that have maybe fired out a battery, but that just could just be normal, whatever nonsense. I mean, you can find any gun that's fired out a battery, which means it kind of blows up.
And the
Um,
other one was the M&P.
yeah, I just don't recommend M&Ps. But to be fair to the M&P, I haven't really paid attention to the M&P in years. The original M&Ps were not accurate; they had some issues. Um, I know the new ones, they ended up doing an update. Like if you got an older M&P and you found a barrel that had two dots on it, like that was an upgraded.
It,
They had they remachined it or did
it's
something
just
so
going to
then
be,
they were more
it's just
accurate.
for, extra home protection. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna,
like a nightstand
go
gun.
out and range with it or this or that or accessorize it in any way. I wanted to get a sub $400 ish type, nine, and I hate Glocks with a passion. So I'm in the market, so I'm going to do a little bit more research on them.
Kraken, do you have any feedback?
I had a couple of the early M&Ps, and I had nothing but problems with them. One thing that sticks out with me with the M&P is Jerry Mikulik was doing a show on his Super Hoochie custom shop one, and
Super
and
Uchi.
and
Okay.
during the drills he was running,
Why are
he
you bringing
actually
up
had
Koreans? No, okay, all right.
yeah. Well, I used to be
Okay.
married to
What?
one. Uh, he actually
Yeah.
had three
Okay.
malfunctions with his that came out of the custom shop. Uh, and the 320 has their issues. Glocks are ugly as a redheaded stepchild, but they just flat work. So if it's just something that's going to be a
Yeah.
nightstand gun, you're not going to whip it
That's
out
exactly
and
what it is.
and try and impress anybody with it. You need it to work. When it needs to work. Uh,
In defense of the MMP, it needs a couple of things need to be said. One, it's a platform that's been around a long time, that's very mature. The MMP's been around a long time. Like they're like on the version 2.0 now, the
yeah,
MMP
like
2.0,
03, 04.
and like they make a metal frame. Yeah, like they make a metal frame version. They do all kinds of stuff with them, and like a fair. I mean, I don't know what it is now, but it used to be a fair amount of police departments that were kind of Smith and Wesson police departments were running M&Ps. Because if they ran 59 series guns and they were getting into automatic or getting into modern polymer guns, they would get a deal from Smith and Wesson, and they would get M&P pistols, and they would get Smith and Wesson M&P AR-15s as their patrol carbines. And I think Smith even worked out some kind of deal; they'd provide them shotguns from somebody too.
Well,
The M&Ps are fine
if
generally.
don't laugh at me, but after holding both of them, and actually several other brands, those are the two that I felt more comfortable with my style hand on them. I just did. Maybe it's crazy, but I like the feel of it. And I'm not a gun
You're
guy,
you're considerably you're considerably bigger than Mrs. Danny
right?
though. How does her hand fit on it?
Well, a friend of mine that owns a range was supposed to get a 22 mag for her to shoot, and that's never materialized. So, I won't name names.
The 22 mag for her to shoot is here
Oh,
right
you got
now.
one?
The 22 mag
Right.
revolver, Smith and Wesson 351, 22 mag. It's a 7 shot or 7 or 8 shot revolver, J frame, aluminum scadmium frame, or whatever it is, titanium, whatever bullshit it is. Yeah, we got one. We picked one up used from a
Oh,
shooter
I
supply.
didn't know
We
you
absolutely
never
have
told
one.
me that. Oh, so
Wow, we put it on the website, fool. So,
some of us have a job, but anyway.
co-host of the John1911 Podcast being one of them.
Yeah. Well, there's a factor number two. What can she hold?
Yeah,
Her dimensions. So
yeah. So she's not a big woman, and so the other thing is, and Kraken makes very good points. First thing I'm going to say it again. I'm nervous about the 320. 365, I'm not as nervous on. It'd probably fit her really
Well,
well, but I'm nervous about the
it doesn't.
320. MPs are probably fine. Um, but a lot of Glocks are probably not going to fit Mrs. Danny.
Right.
Their Glocks are big, blocky guns, and now there's going to be people right there's like the Glock 48. There's some Glocks that they make that are smaller gun, or whatever they are with
Little
they're smaller,
43s.
but those yeah, but some of those guns might be a little bit of a handful to hold too
Hmm.
for her.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I
Well, maybe
mean? Yeah, it's like
I don't know. Maybe I should get a 380 then.
no, 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 no. Well, okay, I remember one thing, and I'm not an H&K nerd, even though I ran H&K there for probably about a year and a half or 2 years. And I know you don't want to spend the money, but you had mentioned an interest in the HK
Right.
VP9, and I think the VP9 is an excellent gun for her and you. And here's why. Because it's a full-size gun, so it's going to be easy to control. It's not going to be like she's going to be trying to hold on to some little pocket rocket that's recoiling the shit out of her. Okay. And so then the other thing is, though, the grips on the VP9, dude, you can shrink that gun down so small. You just, because it comes with all these different
Right.
grips, and you can different side panels and backstrap. You can shrink that thing down. There is not a girl out there, unless she's like on My Midget Life, that can't hold a shrunken VP9. And even then, I bet most of the midgets could hold that gun.
Well,
They're expensive. They're more
very
expensive,
expensive.
but then you can you can blow that gun up and make it big, full size,
Yeah.
big panels and big backstrap, and it all comes
Well,
in one case.
maybe
And
we'll try yours when we come down.
yeah, I've got one or two of them. I know I have one. I don't remember if I have the second one or not. We may have gotten the second one. We got rid of some. We don't normally sell guns, but we got rid of some guns during COVID because we had extraneous guns that we never like. There were some Glock 19s. We never used those guns, and shooter supply was hurting for inventory, so we went ahead and it's like here's some guns from the armory to kind of help carry you over. And I can't remember if I got rid of the second BP9 or not.
Hmm.
I'll have to look. I'll have to check the
Well,
inventory, see if
when we
it's. But
tried that Glock 22, that 40 cal, she didn't like that, and I didn't like it.
that thing sucks. Oh, that gun. No, the Glock 22 sucks. I mean, like the Glock 22 for a small statured person is gonna suck
It did.
ass. I'm not saying but for her, there's no way. The gun's too big for her hand, and then that 40 recoils, kicks like a little mule. The Glock 22 is a full size gun, doesn't kick that hard, but that gun
It
kicks.
did.
And that's not gonna be a gun for her.
No,
No.
no. So well, anything semi-automatic is going to be an upgrade from my 38 special that I have in there now. So I have to.
The nice thing about the VP9 is it's got these little wings on the slide. They're little like ledges that come out on the back. So you can get, if you don't have hand strength, you can get your fingers on it, and it's easier to rack that gun too.
Oh, really?
It's easier to manipulate. It is
That
easier.
is. It's funny you say that
Yeah.
because I was racking the gun store. The M&P is a lot stiffer and harder. It's almost like racking a damn high point to me. I didn't like how you had to rack it.
Was it an M&P C, an M&P compact?
No, it was full size. It
Full
wasn't.
size,
It wasn't
really?
the shield.
Well, yeah, there's a M&P C that they make that is it's not the shield. Maybe they don't make it anymore. It used to be called the M&P C, and it was called the M&P 9C compact. And so what happens is when you make the guns with shorter slides, to compensate for the recoil in the system, they put stiffer springs in them. So it seems counterintuitive but the smaller the gun with the shorter the slide, typically the heavier the spring is, depending on
Right.
how it unlocks. But so yeah, that's like that's an issue. So like when things settle down a little bit, you guys want to get down here, we
Oh yeah,
can
we'll try them all before.
like
I mean, I'm good till we get down there. They had a big sale going on. I don't know if you have them by our. It's like a farm and fleet type thing, but it's a different name. And they had this sale going on, so I thought, oh, I'll go look at them, and that's what I narrowed it down to. But I just don't know the
okay.
functionality of them or their history. That's why I asked.
I would second the VP9. Uh, I've had one, and actually, that was the first time Marky got into my wallet for me. I'd been following Marky along, and when he was rocking that VP9, I watched enough videos, and I thought, you know what, I got to try one of them. So I went and grabbed one, and I think I carried it 18 months, 2 years, never had an issue. Uh, but as far as Mrs. Danny, Hornady makes a 90 grain, 9 millimeter critical defense round, and it shot really well out of my VP9 with very little recoil, which would be a great home defense round in a 9 millimeter for her.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Kraken, you never met her, but she's only 120 pounds, 5'1".
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
she's a small
my
lady.
my first wife, my first wife was
However,
4'10" and
how
80
you
pounds. So
Oh,
I,
there
I'm
you
for,
go.
I'm familiar with the small statured women.
Yeah, they're easy to
yeah,
spin.
but
Yep. So this
yeah.
little 90 grain load would be ideal for her.
Well, that's a good idea. Marky, I know you're thinking something.
I'm not, dude. I'm thinking nothing. I'm sitting over here I'm like P Diddy over here with a bottle of baby oil, just
Yeah.
hoping nobody
Yeah.
sees me. I'm just like, don't look at me, nothing to
Hey,
see.
LBFMs.
So,
they said that P. Diddy had Oprah and Bill Cosby on speed dial. That's going to be interesting. Is he going to go the way Epstein?
dude, I mean, okay, you know what? We haven't done a pod in a while, so we're just gonna
Freewheel it.
look. Let me tell you something. I am trying not to get into the P Diddy stuff, but I've known people because I used to work with people, like people that have done security for Hollywood people and people that have worked in Hollywood. I've worked as a model at one point. I've known people who are going to become actors. I'm not saying I'm in Hollywood because I am not in Hollywood. But I mean, it's like I kind of know, and the shit that keeps coming out. Here's the difference. Jeffrey Epstein happened, and that kind of kept brewing and happening. People would we would talk about it, but nobody actually really knew anything. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like there were assumptions, or you would, well, so and so was on a whatever, or this or that, but like you would get some things, or maybe a photograph of somebody might be in an airport with somebody or at a party, and you're like, But I'll tell you what, this P. Diddy story, everybody's talking. And they're not talking about it like it's that over there. Everybody's got a P. Diddy story of the time they went to the party. They were this, or they were that, or they've seen photographs. And this is not a completely unknown thing because people have forgotten this. So Harvey Weinstein, right? Like, everyone can remember Harvey
Oh yeah.
Weinstein and,
The
the
Hollywood
actresses and
mogul.
whatever. And it's turned in, he ran Miramax or Miramar, whatever it's called. Like, he did Top Gun, all these movies. And, he could make or break people. He was a big player. And, it's kind of launched the Me Too movement that kind of went around and then, kind of ping ponged all across the country. One of the things that kind of got dropped about Harvey Weinstein was Harvey Weinstein, he would do stuff with actresses and then he'd put them in movies, right?
Right.
Well, he would take pictures with these actresses, and it is a known fact that he would be at dinner parties at his home with whatever you consider people he was trying to impress. Whatever that would mean, I don't know, but he would have events and maybe a subject would come up. And, I don't even want to name an actress. because I don't even want to name them because because we're going to get a letter. We've gotten letters before, and we're going to get a goddamn letter, and I just don't want to deal with it. So I'm not going to name any actresses, but he'd been at a dinner party, and just imagine in your mind at home right now, whether it's a girl from 10 years ago or a girl right now, some actress that is super hot, super well known in your mind, and is, like an it girl right now. Imagine that girl, pictures, and Harvey Weinstein would be like, oh, yeah, I know random name. I don't even want to say like the generic random name actress. Here's a photograph of her half naked in a room at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And that kind of got dropped, and Harvey went away. But the P. Diddy thing is like the rumors you hear and the rumors you keep hearing are just out of control. And then you remember there was a thing with Harvey Weinstein. You guys remember this. You guys remember Kurt Cobain, right? Remember his, he killed himself, and he had this girlfriend who's a drug user, musician girl. What was that woman's name? Remember her, Kurt Cobain's
I
girlfriend?
remember the story, but
She's a
I don't know the name.
she's a wreck. Like, she used to be a stripper, and she's a drug addict, and she's a rock and roller. She's a blonde girl. I can't remember. People will leave it in the comments section. Podcast at John1911.com. And she was like, this is just random shit that would come out like after Harvey Weinstein. And they would find, oh yeah, remember the one time that whatever actress, so she's at a Hollywood red carpet function or movie premiere, maybe like a movie premiere. And so she's, walking in, and, there's people that are low level, Hollywood reporter type people with websites, whatever, like a little John 1911 type thing, right? Be like, so and so, what would be, do you have any advice for young girls that want to get started in Hollywood, or maybe advice on how they can get ahead? And she stops and she looks to the side, and she misspeaks describing it. She goes, I shouldn't say this because I'll get libeled. And what she's saying is, I shouldn't say this because I'll get sued. But she goes, I shouldn't say this, but I'll get libeled. But then she leans in and she looks at the camera and she goes, if Harvey Weinstein invites you to the party at Beverly Hills Hotel, don't go. And then she turns and walks away. And all this shit was coming out, right? Now the same thing is happening with Diddy. There are stories from Cat Williams 10 years ago on stage. Not the Cat Williams at the Club Shay Shay when he gave this interview earlier this year. He's saying shit about Diddy parties and this crazy crap going on. And you're like, people are sharing the clips. And then there's other things where people are sharing the clips. And, there's a story that keeps ping-ponging around, so it's not coming from me, so we're not going to get a letter. But, there's Jennifer Lopez and who's the actress the actor? Jennifer Lopez and the actor that always looks like he's not motivated to do anything. They're just filed for divorce. Ben Affleck,
Yep.
right? Ben Affleck. Is it Affleck or Affleck? Whatever it is. So one of the rumors is they just got married a year ago, and he just filed for divorce, but they're still kind of meeting and whatever. Well, the rumor that keeps going out is that the from the raids on Diddy's properties is there are people that also had access to photographs, and they were shopping them around and hitting Diddy up for money or suing Diddy. And so the content was out there. Apparently, the rumor is there are photographs that Diddy has of Jennifer Lopez, because that used to be his girlfriend. That used to be his very, very famous girlfriend. And she was very young, and she was an up and coming. She wasn't the big $100 million, $500 million diva she is today. And apparently it's not like, oh, naked pictures of my girlfriend. It's like they're not saying what it is, but there's apparently photographs of her. The rumor is at one of these parties, and it's bad. And it's like that might be why they suddenly decided to split up. And maybe she is compromised, or maybe she was doing something with Diddy, who was her boyfriend, that now leaves her liable to being sued because she was his number one girl. Do you guys remember there's a famous photograph of Jennifer Lopez at some kind of event where she's wearing this famous green dress that like opens up and like drops down real low in the cleavage. It's like this famous dress that like made her like it in the Hollywood circles, like of like promotion, it really put her on. When that happened, and there's a lot of people listening to this that will remember that, even if you guys don't. She was Diddy's girlfriend. And the only reason she stopped being Diddy's girlfriend, this is how out of control this is. He was a felon and had issues, and he was surrounded by all these people. And he went to some club in New York, some bar, and where they run. I've told the story before where I've worked at clubs and I've been in back and I'm like, why the fuck do you guys have magnetometers here? And the owner looks at me and goes like, I'm fucking stupid. He goes, hip hop night. And so apparently what happened was it was hip hop night or whatever, this hip hop club. Diddy shows up with his entourage. They're magnetometing Diddy and everybody, but they didn't really they didn't really pat down the girls. And the rumor is that Jennifer Lopez carried a gun through security for Diddy. There was an altercation. This is all documented and rumored. An altercation broke out. The rumor is that Diddy pulled out the gun, shot at somebody, ended up hitting somebody else. Like there was an innocent bystander that was injured. Diddy didn't go to jail for the case because Diddy's bouncer at the time took the rap, said it was his gun, and said he shot the person, even though there's witnesses saying it wasn't him, it was Diddy. And the rumor was that J-Lo snuck the gun in because she was this up-and-coming young starlet actress, and he's P. Diddy, and she's like, she's doing anything he wants. And so when this happened, they broke up. And she's been able to kind of go off and kind of have her own, because she had kind of gotten launched being his girl, and now she's gone off to be this big-time actress and media singer career. Like she's this major star. She's a major star. But the rumor is that all this shit's going to start coming back, like all the dirty stuff that she's been involved in. Now, here's another one. Here's another one for you. And I know you guys don't know half the people I'm talking about. Do you guys happen to know who Russell Simmons is?
Yes.
Def Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russell Simmons. Yeah,
He's a big promoter.
He was married to Kimora Lee. Yeah, Russell Simmons. Do you know where Russell Simmons lives today?
Mm-mm.
No.
You assume California, right?
I guess so.
Yeah. About a year and a half ago, he suddenly picked up and moved to Fiji. I think it's Fiji or Bali or Fiji. Now, I'm going to say Fiji. But wherever he moved, and there had been some, during the Me Too, there had been some girls kind of came out and were saying some things about, him and, whatever. And, you're like, girls maybe wanting money, starlets or whatever, they go to these clubs, bottle service, and then the girls, like, they want to, look back on it and be like, I mean, like, I'm making excuses for this. But all the Me Too shit started happening. And there was a lawsuit that was kind of filed against Russell Simmons. All of a sudden, Russell Simmons, he's a big-time producer, even today. Okay? He's a big name. All of his connections are in Hollywood, California, New York, all of that stuff. All of a sudden, he sells everything he owns lock, stock, and barrel, and he buys a house and moves to Fiji. And there's even been like a news crew or like, like a HGTV crew that came in and they're like, this is my house. This is whatever. He does like yoga and meditation. He's real big in that kind of stuff. And, and it's like maybe like his friends will come and visit him. He doesn't come back to America. And the other interesting thing is there is no extradition from
That's just
Fiji.
what I was getting ready to ask.
Right. So this
Uh-huh.
is all pre-planned on his part.
Well, apparently he saw the writing on the wall, and that's the rumor. That's the rumor. And then he moved to Fiji, and it's like, why the fuck would he move to Fiji? It's like he's out of the game. It's like, why would you do that? Like, I get it. Like, I could see, like, why would I move to Fiji if I can't have guns there? Why would he move to Fiji if he's, still wanting to, well, that's why. And it's like, but then like kind of nothing ever happened.
Well,
But people were getting worried. Well, now all of a sudden the P Diddy thing is happening, and the P Diddy thing is going to wash over a lot of these people. It's probably going to catch up Russell Simmons. It's probably going to catch J Lo.
it's gonna attach.
It
It's gonna
looks like it.
get to Kamala because she was pictured with him.
Well, no, now, hold on. Now you're being a
I'm not being
hypocrite
a hypocrite. I
because
just said she was
you
pictured with
absolutely
him.
you are absolutely being a hypocrite because I can show you a photograph of Donald Trump standing next to Jeffrey Epstein at a wedding, and you're like, they're not
I didn't.
associated.
I
That
did.
was
I
just at a
know
fucking
there's.
wedding.
I just made the analogy that it's gonna get Kamala in there
Yeah,
too because there's pictures of
I
her
don't
with
think
him.
it's going to get.
All
No,
right. Well,
no,
then Willie Brown.
Kamala, no, no, well, no, Willie's not in any of that shit at all. Willie is a San Francisco. No, there's no. That's not going to touch. That's a different universe. But hold on. So, it's going to get Russell Simmons. There's been a lot of rumors that Jay-Z and what's his wife who's now gone crazy, Beyonce, that they're in it because they're in big time with with Diddy, and there's a lot of stories going. Always been a lot of stories about Jay-Z. Is Jay-Z the one with the secret wife and the secret house? I can't remember. So, there's that. There's Usher is involved in this big time, and there was a shit. What's his name? There's a video because Usher was big time involved with the shit. It's hard for me to keep track of all these kids. Who's Justin Bieber?
Oh
Remember
yeah.
Justin Bieber? So Justin Bieber's not a little kid anymore, but like Justin Bieber was like this little kid prodigy, baby face kid, and I think Usher discovered him. Well, Usher and Diddy are like butt buddies, and like might be literally. There's video at these parties or these events where these guys are surrounding somebody, and it looks really fucking weird. And then I didn't want to say. There's video that's out there that looks very compromising for a very young Justin Bieber.
You might be touching on the tip of the iceberg. Lord knows how many people are going to be implicated in this.
And the thing is, and what it is it's just like the Jeffrey Epstein thing, or I mean not Jeffrey, the Harvey Weinstein thing is everybody knew. Like we didn't know because we live in real America. So why would we know? Like I didn't know. I couldn't have picked Harvey Weinstein out from a lineup. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. I don't care. But it's like I know some of these Hollywood people are like the celebrity side. But I don't know the agents or what goes on. But apparently all these people, they've heard the stories, they've seen the stories, and I'll tell you what. So they say Justin Bieber right now is running scared because apparently the rumor is it's not my rumor. So don't come at me, lawyers. They're not because there's so many of these stories now. They're not going to come after us. We're not going to get a letter. But it's like basically it appears that the possibility that some of these people that discovered Justin Bieber basically were fucking him when he was a little kid and passing him around. And then they signed him, and then he became this heartthrob to all these women. These young girls who are now probably like maybe in their maybe 40. And it's like they're about to find out that their little heartthrob boy that they liked when they were little kids was a gay
He was
fucking
a boy
prostitute.
toy.
Yeah, no, he's a
Oh,
gay prostitute.
okay.
And it's just like, so like he's running scared. There's what else? There's I mean, there's a whole so if you want to follow who has been calling this out, Cat Williams has been calling this out for years. And he started calling it out again this year. And then another one is 50 Cent. 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, the rapper, 50 Cent. He's been shot 9 times, used to sling dope. I'm not saying he's, he should be anybody's, inspiration how to live your life, but he's actually seems like he's grown up to be a pretty interesting, responsible, and smart guy. You know what I mean? Like he's a self-made person, but also surprisingly, it seems like he's got a fair amount of morals. And he has been calling out the P. Diddy stuff for years. And he's still, if he posts, when the rumors of the P, he posts memes about it. He says shit about Jay-Z. He obviously knows all of this shit. And it's very interesting to see who is willing now to, because it's obvious that the gravity of this has gotten to the point that the feds have taken over. And so it's no longer a question of if, it's when. The tide is coming, the big wave is coming. And so now these people that have known this for a long time feel comfortable saying the stuff, even though they've been hinting around about it for a while, but they feel comfortable coming out and even like directly saying things like, oh man, ever since P. Diddy was arrested, where's Jay-Z been at? Like literally saying shit like that. Whereas before they would have gotten letters. But there's so many allegations running around now. It's really interesting to see who's talking. And this story is going to do 2 things. It's going to decimate Hollywood. It's gonna go through Hollywood like the flood went through, Noah's Ark. Like it's gonna wipe out all of them. And the second thing it's gonna do when all this stuff starts coming out, all these lawsuits, there's allegations that P. Diddy murdered Kim Porter, one of his girlfriends. There's allegations that other people have died mysteriously. Like this isn't just like, ooh, you got caught diddling somebody. It's like child sex slavery, murder, and everybody knows this. And they've been all running around for 20 years acting like they're better than us, telling us how to live and how to be. And they literally, it's like this is turning into one of those Alex Jones type conversations. 9/11, Osama bin Laden's going to go down thing. Oh, they're turning the frogs gay, and the fluoride's going to make you stupid. And yeah, the satanic child worshippers in fucking Hollywood, it's all Satanists. And all the allegations they made about Pizzagate, it's all back. And this is going to blow through the Democratic and left Hollywood side of this country. Like it's going to be a shitstorm, because the problem is this has been going on so long because people haven't quite realized this. And I'll get off and let you guys, because I need to take a breath. Everybody talks about Jeffrey Epstein at his island and his apartments and his houses videotaping everybody, right? Like this is a known thing, right?
Yeah.
Right? Jeffrey Epstein videotaped. There's all these tapes. They're like, who are the clients? Who are the victims? Where are the tapes? Everybody's asking. P. Diddy was videotaping and recording everybody.
Wow. That's going to be it's going to be interesting.
And the problem is not all of the copies of the tapes are exclusively in the hands of the FBI.
Oh, that means
There's so
there's going to
much
be
of
some black market
that means
stuff.
that means there's
Excuse me.
lawyers that no, because this has been going on for like a year and a half, because what's happened is there are lawyers that have copies of these things, and their clients are saying, I have copies of X, Y, and Z. Either I have a copy of it, of this activity, and I want a settlement,
Insurance
or
policies.
my client,
Right.
or my client is a victim on these tapes, and we want a settlement. And so there were enough of these evidence-based negotiations floating around in Hollywood, and people coming after people saying, pay me off or else, that the feds could no longer ignore it, because lawyers know lawyers, and the FBI are lawyers, and everybody knows everybody. Like, look, if there was some crazy fucking giant conspiracy that was going on that was like next door to the John 1911 range, just as an example, there's no way that certain SWAT teams and certain law enforcement agencies wouldn't know about it, because it'd be like, yeah, you guess what I'm fucking dealing
Right.
with. Really?
Yep.
And that's the same thing. And like the feds aren't the first people to move on this. The feds are the last people to move on this. Russell Simmons ran to Fiji almost 2 years ago. Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on.
Wow. Well, we'll have to see.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go ahead. We're not going to do anything else. We're going for 2 hours. I appreciate you guys sticking in with me there. Sticking it in. Holy shit. Phrasing, Jesus.
I wish you wouldn't use RFK and sticking it in the same sentence, but that's okay.
Yeah. So somebody's against shots.
Yeah.
So really, is that what we're calling it now? So hey, baby, we're gonna get off it. So the next episode will be more guns and more topical shit happening today. We just all catching up. So, and Kraken's still is probably still healing up from his sunburn from his fishing trip. You want to see pictures of his sunburn? Go to the comments section, go to the website from his catfishing trip. He looks like he caught a catfish and came back a lobster. So, well, this wraps up episode 352 of the John 1911 Podcast. You want to see them stories or pictures, links, and stuff like this, please go to the website at john1911.com. It's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Later.